Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast.
There you go.
I said it right. It's the first time because we're almost done. I can finally get it right. We're doing movies that have Night of the in the title. The last couple episodes we did Night of the Comet and Night of the Creeps, both really fun, great movies. This week we're doing Night of the Lepus.
It's a different kind of movie.
It's a different kind of great.
It's a different, yeah. It's kind of a snuggly kind of movie.
Is it because they're rabbits?
I like the rabbits.
That's why they're snuggly. It's a snuggly movie.
It is a snuggly movie. It shouldn't be, but it is. So many times I just want to like reach out and just smush their faces together. But
their little Lepus faces.
They're little Lepus faces. We're Night of the Living podcast. If this is your first time listening, we talk about science fiction, horror, and fantasy films, mostly horror. And this theme is the Night of the titles. We had a person who subscribes to our mailing list, a mailing list subscriber, that's what they're called.
Yes.
Win our little raffle that we do for every series of the theme we do, and where we have someone who subscribes to the mailing list pick the fourth movie.
Yes.
But they didn't get back to me. This happens sometimes. So we have a backup.
Which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Tease that later on.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, it doesn't begin with Night of the.
Isn't that funny?
Wait, what doesn't?
No, we're just kidding.
Oh, okay.
He's being ridiculous.
Oh, I see now. It's just slow.
Yeah.
You know. Patreon's how we make it happen.
Yeah, patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like this, then you're going to like all the extra stuff that we have over there.
Zoned Out, which is me and Joe Juvland doing a revisit of the original Twilight Zone series.
Ad-free.
It's ad-free there at Patreon. You also get that here. Origins, where we go back and listen to old episodes and add commentary. A lot of it is us explaining that we were different people. We've grown.
Things were different in the 2010s and such. There will be a new episode of Origins coming out this week. Back in 2012, we were talking about La Tia Alejandra.
Yeah.
Was it Hispanic Heritage Month?
Yes. Lewis was with us.
That was a good. If you've, I don't know if that's easy to find, but I think we watched it on a DVD. But
yes.
That was a really good movie.
Right.
It felt like a evil aunt, kind of thing. And the kids trying to lay traps on the steps and all that. Oh,
I can't believe you remember any of it.
I actually, it stood out to me because it was like it felt like a folk tale.
Right.
I love those kind of things.
Well, apparently I fell asleep watching this movie, so I don't remember it at all.
So
It's a little
never
slow.
really seen it.
I can see why. You should give it another shot if you can find it.
So that'll be Origins. Then, of course, there's Topicana, which every other week we talk about the topics of the day.
We have a good time. But there's a topic. The reason we wanted to tell you all that at the beginning of the show, we wanted to make room for Andy found human shit.
We think.
Gotta make room for the turd.
Andy found human shit on the streets of Cincinnati, and we
But
wanted
here's the
him to
thing.
tell the tale.
Like, Cincinnati is like a pretty big city, but I don't think it's not like a LA or New York.
We're not
obviously.
shit on the streets.
Yeah.
Big.
And I hear like at bigger cities, you see this like not often, but
because they don't have public restrooms and people are stuck.
Yeah, and it's a lot bigger
I have walked
population, so there's going to be more
Yeah.
people that are houseless.
I have walked the streets of New York City only like 3 or 4 times in my life, and one of those times I found human shit.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati isn't like that.
Yeah, you don't. Maybe it's the first time I've seen human shit in the city.
In the city.
Shit in the city.
So, because we don't live in Cincinnati proper. We live in the suburbs around Cincinnati.
Cincinnati pooper.
Yeah. So maybe people do shit in the suburbs, but I just don't see it.
Maybe this is the Cincinnati pooper.
Maybe people shit in the suburbs and I just don't see it.
It just seems like a big city problem.
Notable quotables. That's going to be on a Jeopardy episode in 100 years.
Oh my God, Andy.
And also, like, if we do go downtown, which is once in a blue moon.
If we do go downtown?
Yeah, do downtown. It's typically something at night. So I think maybe the poos are more disguised in the night.
They are harder to see in the night.
A good dark poop. You know, a rich brown.
I almost want you to post it on our Instagram.
I mean, I can do the cover, like not
Night
safe for
Living
work.
Podcast. Yeah, do that.
Click on it.
Trigger warning. We're talking about human excrement.
Well, it could be a large dog's.
No, the positioning of it.
Well,
it was to dogs don't typically poop against things.
Against a wall.
Was there like, you know, did you do like a whole like splatter analysis on it?
Oh, jeez.
One of the
Christ.
friends I was with noticed it was right next to where you pay to park at. Where you get your ticket. Put your license and everything information. It spits out a ticket. You put in your windshield.
Yeah.
It's like kind of this black pole type thing, and right on the pole above the poo was ass cheek prints.
Oh.
Oh,
So
you got,
Oh, no.
It was like a episode of CSI. It was like
Somebody
forensics.
took a break in the
did you
middle.
turn the contrast way up on your
Yeah.
camera so you could see them?
Somebody took a break, leaned against the pole.
But who knows how
Got
long
down to
that
shit again.
who knows how long that poo has been there.
Chung chung.
Yeah.
We're doing Law and Order
Chung chung.
on this.
In the criminal justice system, people
There-
poop on parking meters.
And there are the people who find those people that poop on parking meters. You know that you could get a DNA tested.
Yeah.
There's DNA in your shit.
So whoever you are, wherever you are,
We'll find you.
We'll find you.
You can run, you can't hide.
oh,
The Cincinnati
But
pooper.
yeah, I mean, have you guys ever seen shit downtown?
Not in Cincinnati, like I said. I've only
Yeah.
ever seen that in New York.
I've seen human.
But I honestly
shit.
felt honored to see it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is what I came here for.
New York. You're
It's
like
part of the
that's
new
New York.
experience."
That is the essence of New York.
It's the water that makes it different.
I saw rats running around.
Did you?
And I felt like, okay.
We saw an entire garbage
it's
bag
real.
move across the street the first time we went to New York. That was funny as shit.
I thought it was great.
Garbage bag crawled across the street.
I mean, do we sound like yokels?
Yes.
Yeah. People were like, garbage bags crawl across the street every day in New York.
I see
Hey,
poo every day
I've
in the
seen-
street.
I've seen
everywhere.
rats at Disney. So,
Yeah.
and I've seen cockroaches at Disney.
Man,
you know what?
it's like
it could be anywhere.
It's like that Rucker Hauer speech
Nature
at the end of
finds a
Blade
way.
Runner that she's only Amy's like, Amy, you like totally made your own
Yeah.
version of the Rucker Hauer Blade
Yeah,
Runner.
it's all
death
tears and
monologue.
rain.
Right
Yeah.
on.
It was poo and rain. It was raining yesterday too, but this turd was holding up to the rain. Like it was sturdy.
It really was a rainy day.
It was a sturdy turdy.
Maybe the
Wow.
rain isn't really to blame.
Mm.
So I'll remove the turd. But not
But the funny
butt
thing
prints.
was, like, there was literally an alley
Yeah.
3 feet away from where
This was a statement shit.
The
Somebody was mad about the price of parking.
the place of the poo.
I think you're right, Amy. I think somebody was just mad about the price of parking.
Yeah. I have never in my life felt it in me to use shit as a revenge mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
I have never in my life thought, I'm gonna shit and
Yeah.
that'll show you.
You've seen The Help, though, right?
Yes.
Well, she went above and beyond. She put that in a pie.
She did. Like the purple pie man of, what was it?
I don't know.
The peculiar purple pie man. It's from Strawberry Shortcake.
Right.
We were looking at Cartoon Express. I found
So-
Cartoon Express stuff on YouTube.
Yes.
Exciting.
Patreon.com/NOTLP.
Yep.
Oh, you talking about Discord too?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's a perk in Patreon.
Yeah, if you are, thank you, Andy, because I often forget to mention that. If you join our Patreon, you get access to our Discord, which is a lovely corner of the internet where people are nice to each other.
And
Yeah.
Amy and I are active on there
Yeah.
pretty much every
You
day.
can go there and tell us your poo stories.
I would
Yeah.
love to hear your poo stories. But
Are you
put them
coming back
behind,
to
like, a
Discord,
spoiler.
Andy?
Oh no, but I just
okay.
want to like give a shout out to it.
Andy won't do it.
Andy is not going to socialize
He's
with
not
anyone,
gonna
but
work here anymore.
We have a good old time. I wish you'd come to a meetup again sometime, Andy.
Then we do the meetups.
It's like church.
That's another thing you get as part of our
You get pressured.
Discord. Get to hang out with us every week if you wanted to. You might not want to, and that's fine. That doesn't hurt my feelings in the least.
It reminds me of when a bunch of people hang around a Cracker Barrel in the general store. Like
They're
that,
just chatting.
Our meetups are just this middle-aged. Honestly, I think that's our demographic.
Cracker barrelers.
Yeah, we're Cracker Barrel. Okay, we can't.
Barrelers.
That's impossible to say.
Cracker Barrelers.
You did it. Anything else you want to talk about at the top?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Life is beautiful. All right. Turn out lights. It's the main attraction. This week's main attraction, Andy picked Night of the Lepus.
Yeah, it just sounded fun.
Yeah, you had never seen it before?
Yeah. Have you seen it before?
I had, yeah.
I feel like it's something that was on channel, the not main channels on TV.
I think I saw it on
It was
19.
your second tier.
Yeah.
It was a UHF channel for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like channel 19, 45, 64.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those movies they would put on.
Those are our lower tier local channels.
There's a few other that they would run a lot on there, like Kolchak, the Night Stalker, when they had the movie version, of the first couple episodes, they would show that. Or it almost feels like a made-for-TV movie sometimes.
Night of the Lepus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
It's got a bunch of TV is in it.
Yeah.
It's got
It's got stars in it.
it's got Janet Leigh in it, for crying out loud.
Academy Award nominee Janet Leigh, and also I can't remember. There's another person in this that was nominated. It might have been Roy Calhoun, who was in Motel Hell. Remember him?
And
what's his
fun
name?
for you guys. The DeForest Kelley, is that his name?
DeForest
Yeah,
fucking Kelley.
Bones.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor,
We watched it with riff tracks.
not a
Did you-
Lepus
Oh no,
expert.
I watched it. I found a copy with Svengoolie.
Oh, yeah,
good idea.
That's right. Have to watch. Maybe watch it again.
So we
now.
did not watch this raw. I think watching this movie without any marital aids, so to speak,
You mean
is
like a
the
horror
wrong
host?
is the wrong choice. You definitely want some help with Night of the Lepus. That is my opinion.
Yeah, the riff tracks help it.
Help it go down.
I love
Svengoolie.
Zvengoolie.
Yeah.
I started to say Goulardi. You know why that's happening is because we're watching Drew Carey,
The Drew Carey show, and he often wears a Goulardi sweatshirt.
and
which
every
was the
time I'm
Cleveland.
like, oh, it's Goulardi, and then I have a
guy.
problem when I go back to
Svengoolie.
Zvengoolie, where my brain doesn't want to say Sven. It just wants to go Ghoul and Artie. So it's all fucked up there, essentially. Night of the Lepus, though. Yeah. What were you thinking, Andy? Were you like, it's a cute rabbit movie?
I read the description and I like B movies from that era.
Yeah.
Especially like Creature Features or like Science Gone Wrong.
Yes.
It
This
really
was all of
checks
that.
all those boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, as silly as the movie is, and they didn't mean it to be, it was meant to be
That's why
scary.
it's good.
Yeah.
Because it's camp.
Yeah, definitely.
When camp is when they take it seriously, but it goes wrong.
Yes.
And this is definitely camp because they took it deadly serious.
And it was about giant rabbits, which was never going to work.
Yeah, I was just thinking the whole time, like, how did they get to the screen?
The central premise was
Because
just incorrect.
It was a book?
It was a novel called...
Okay, well, maybe it works
yeah.
better as a novel because, you can describe things more. It's not
in the
a visual
imagination.
thing.
Yeah, because you're probably if you're gonna buy into the idea at all of killer rabbits. It was called The Year of the Angry Rabbit by Russell Branan, but it sparked enough interest that somebody's like, this has to be put to film. And then they changed the name to Night of the Lepus.
Which was, again, a really boneheaded decision.
Yeah.
But
Very strange.
do a lot of people know what Lepus means?
No. The only reason I know it is because about this movie.
Same. That's where I learned it.
So people aren't going to know what your movie's about.
I used to get this mixed up with Food of the Gods. Do you remember that one?
Is
with the
that
big
also
rats?
a giant rabbit movie?
I think it's Big
or
Rats,
giant-
if I remember.
No.
Right. Yeah, I have to watch it again because now, like,
Are they giant?
if I remember right, they were big. Yeah. Like I said, though, I'm mixing it up. Like in my brain, this helped pull all of the Night of the Lepus material out of that mess, and now I'll always remember that it had bones in it, and that he was sporting one heck of a mustache.
Well, ostensibly, it's a horror movie,
Yeah.
but it's hard to make furry, cuddly little rabbits scary.
Like, it was never going to work.
Unless they're mutant like rabbits that are, have like giant fangs or
Like
stuff like that.
like the rabbit in the Twilight Zone
Yes,
movie.
exactly. Those rabbits are scary.
Yeah.
But just giant rabbits, something giant doesn't make it automatically scary.
Exactly.
It just makes if something's small and cute
Yeah.
and you blow it up, it's still cute.
It's big and cute
Yeah.
instead. Yeah.
Yeah. My dog, when she was a puppy, holy shit, she was so cute. But you know what?
Yeah.
She's still fucking cute.
Yeah,
She's huge.
and
She's
she was
huge.
like Clifford the big red dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still cute,
Still
even
very
though
cute.
it's the size of a house.
Yeah. Yeah. Andre the Giant.
He's cute.
He was cute.
They should have known they weren't going to be able. I can imagine the novel did
Yeah.
what it needed to do to make them scary. You know what? Maybe I'll try to find a
Oh,
copy of
you
it.
should. I would love to know what the hell happens in the book.
Because you can write giant fangs and you can write these things
You can describe destruction.
that they
and-
can't
Yeah.
do in 1970. When did this come out?
71, I think.
1971.
72 maybe.
Effects were never going
And
to be able
also,
to do that.
Considering probably their budget's pretty low,
Yeah.
they're not.
They spent it all on their
Yeah.
cast.
It is a good cast, and I think it's interesting too that like Janet Leigh was doing it because it was close to where she lived, and she had Jamie Lee and
queen.
what's Kelly Curtis? Is that the sister?
She had kids to take care of. Good
Yeah.
for her.
And she wouldn't let them be in the movie. They tried to hire them. She
Right.
said, wouldn't let them be in horror movies, ironically.
Very ironically.
But yeah, her coming on and that and I want to say there's another big name in this besides Rory Calhoun. Not that he's huge, but I'm missing somebody.
yeah, that one guy.
Well, like when I was
don't have my
watching
phone.
Paul
Svengoolie, he went
Fitz.
through the cast.
Yeah.
And there was some bigger names at the top. I forgot who.
Yeah. So look it up. It's interesting. If you decide to watch the movie, it's really
Yeah, it's-
wild who was involved.
It's like names that were in their twilight of their careers,
Yeah.
but at one point they were bigger,
Yeah. Yeah. And they've, whether it was TV or movies or whatever.
which is a hallmark of these type of movies too.
Yeah. The mixing bag of people on their way up
Yeah.
and people on their way down.
What were they thinking? No. Should we do like a brief synopsis or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, go for it.
I like the way the movie opened with the newscaster kind of doing a story on rabbit population overgrowth and what a scourge they can be,
Yeah.
and how they're having to kill them and call them and looking for ways to control rabbit populations, because when they get introduced somewhere, they go to town like rabbits are wont to do.
I like where they have the footage of the rabbit just flinging itself into the fence over and over
They
again.
were scared.
Yeah.
They were scaring
They were
them.
being gathered up.
I felt really bad for these rabbits in this movie because I think they truly were torturing them a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
They smeared ketchup on their faces.
that is
I don't know if the
Rude.
rabbits
Yeah.
like ketchup or not. They might like it.
they
It
might
might have been
like
a
it.
treat. I don't know.
might have been a treat.
But they wanted them to look bloody. So they went with the kid route of just smearing ketchup on them.
It's a very Italian way to go. I mean, like the blood in this movie was so bright, and,
Yeah.
Italian like.
It really was.
I love that stuff, that neon blood.
So then we come up against this rancher, and he's having a hard time with the rabbits on his ranch. They're eating him out of house and home. He had to kill a horse
He is
because
not a Jolly Rancher.
he stepped into a hole. Oh,
That's a good one.
that was a
Freddy.
really good one, honey.
Thank you. That poor horse.
I know the horse steps into a rabbit hole, breaks its leg, has to be shot.
Yeah.
So this rancher's pissed, and he calls up his friend
Is he
DeForest
pissed
Kelley.
because he had to shoot his horse, or because he had to walk?
I think he's just pissed about the holes.
I think
his
he's-
horse at.
I think it's both.
Mm.
I think it's all of
He's
it.
mad at holes. And therefore, he is really mad at the rabbits who make the holes.
He calls DeForest Kelley, who's like, hey, I happen to know of this young couple.
Young.
Yeah, that was fucking
He
hilarious.
says the words young couple who are entomologists.
They're
That's
all-
bug, right?
They're both over 50.
No, it's not the age. It's the way they looked.
Yeah.
They do
It's
not look
very-
young.
It's very
No.
Golden Girls-y. You know how
Yeah.
in the show they were like late 40s or late
I've just
50s.
never heard anyone in their 50s described as
they're,
young.
But they look like they're in their 80s.
Yeah. It's Roy Calhoun, right? And Janet
Well, I
Leigh.
did the math. Like this movie came out in 72 and the couple, they were born 1928 and 1927.
Yeah.
So they'd be 45, 44.
Yeah.
But
I'm 45.
yes,
I'm not young.
we don't look like what they do in the movie.
I look way younger than they do. I think all of us do.
So
Well,
like
Roy
they,
Calhoun definitely.
and they had like a daughter, which is probably like 8 or 7. So they
Yeah.
probably had a little later in life.
Late in
but-
life. I just was
but
like,
they look like their grandparents as opposed to parents.
Yeah, I would like to know in the book if you ever do decide to read it. I want to know how they're portrayed.
I don't know.
But it's the styling of Janet Leigh, especially with the
Yeah,
bouffant hairdo. It's very puffy.
we're used to seeing that on elderly
Yeah.
women because they were still wearing it in the 80s when we were kids.
Yep. He's like, hey, they're bug scientists working on keeping bugs away from stuff. Maybe they can help you with your rabbit problem.
Because bugs are almost like rabbits.
Yeah, he's like, we
And
hate
these-
living things.
Motherfuckers just start playing God. They get in there and they're like, hey, you know, it's a good idea. We're just going to inject this rabbit and see what happens with some stuff.
Is like your mimic problem?
Yes. And they are the ones, they don't suffer any real consequences at the end. They cause all the problems. Well, their little kid does.
Yeah, because she switches the rabbits, but to be fair, they should have some better protocols if their kid can just switch out the rabbit that's about to become giant
Yeah.
with the okay rabbit. Because everything would have been fine if she hadn't swapped out. She got attached to that particular rabbit.
Yeah.
There's a
She
lesson
didn't want
in
her
there.
parents to experiment on this rabbit. And so there she fucks everything up.
Yeah,
And there goes
they're
the
cute.
neighborhood.
Then you have to flush them down the toilet, and then the next thing
The
you
kids
know,
or the rabbits?
They get big
Either.
sewer rabbits.
suitor rabbits. Yep, that's how you get them.
And I guess whatever they give the rabbit makes them big and makes them hungry. When
Tricks?
did we? When were we going to address that they became carnivores? They didn't. The movie is just like
Are rabbits carnivores anyway?
no, they're
No,
herbivores.
they're
Or,
herbivores. But
The movie's just like they get big, and you know what else?
yeah,
Now they eat people. What?
are they actually eating people or are they just biting people?
They're
Well,
slashing.
I didn't
them.
see
They're slashing
them
them.
eating people in the movie.
You're right.
They
not
just
eating.
mauled them to death.
I think it's just because they're so
If they are eating them, they're not very efficient eaters because they left a lot of human meat behind.
You
Yeah.
ever watch those animal attack shows? Like Something Bit Me or
Yeah.
Man versus whatever. And they always say they don't blame the animal.
Right.
And I just wanted to know if any of the victims in Line of the Lepus blame the giant rabbits or not. Or if they're just like, they weren't big by choice.
Yeah, we can't nitpick the science on this because obviously giant rabbits. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just by a simple hormonal change, they become violent and
Yeah.
large.
well, maybe it's because their herbivore diet can sustain their giant bodies, so they need to look for other food sources.
Could be. Yeah, and
And it happens real fast too.
it happens so fast, and it's infectious.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're gonna fuck around with the hormones on them and somehow make that
Yeah,
infectious.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the time period of when the first
very
infected
silly.
rabbit got out, but it seems like only a couple weeks or something.
Oh, it's fast.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's very
It's like they
fast.
blow through. Well, there's a lot of things about this movie that are kind of rushed through
Yeah,
just
so-
to get them out of the
So
way.
I guess this serum that they injected the rabbits with, it makes them giant,
Yeah.
it makes them carnivores, and it makes them reproduce at a even faster rate.
Oh,
So,
whoops.
you know, the thing that really kind of I was a little bit hung up on is this was originally the idea was it was something to spread a disease amongst like insect vermin, right, for the crops and everything.
something like that.
So the idea was you'd inject one insect, it spread it to the rest of the species or whatever. But they weren't ever talking about making giant bugs out of it. So it's apparently something about being a rabbit.
They didn't know it was going to turn them giant. They're trying to just fuck up their reproductive systems.
Yeah, and it made them giant. So see side effects. It's all those side effects you don't think about.
Well, here's they didn't even do. I don't know. The ethical protocols in this movie are non-existent.
Yeah,
They were like, "Hey, do you want to come try something?" And they were like, "Yeah, let me fuck around with nature for a little bit."
yeah.
And they did. There has to be. You can't just right. There are laws. Wait, we used to be a nation of laws.
Not anymore, my friend.
So then, yeah, they get big because the little girl, her favorite rabbit escapes, but this is the one that's been injected. And I guess it passes along.
Yeah.
It changes. All of a sudden, all the rabbits are huge and they are fucking pissed.
Yeah. How does the mine shaft come along into this story? The mine.
That's where
I know the little boy takes her there, but I can't remember why.
because of the cousin Billy.
They're looking for the guy, the prospector that
Captain
lived
Billy.
there.
That's it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Captain Billy.
Yeah, he's like this old timey prospector that Billy knows.
Yeah. So like this is about that point, right? Am I with
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because poor Captain Billy.
He got eaten. He didn't get eaten. I guess he got mauled to death. You're
Yeah.
right. I don't know why I'm insisting that they were eating.
Also, that's I feel lax parenting to just let your child hang out with this old prospector called Captain Billy
Yeah. Captain Billy was a little sus.
that little
that lives in
boy,
a shack.
though, that little boy was a shithead.
He
He's
reminded me
the
of that,
whole
the
reason
dancing cowboy from the GIF
Yeah.
who does the finger guns.
Yeah, like the Walmart yodeler.
Yep.
Our rancher's son. That's who he is. He's kind of a little shit because he takes her rabbit and like throws it onto the ground, and that's how the rabbit gets away.
Yeah, he's a fucker.
He is a fucker.
Oh,
And
she's a little shit too.
I hope he
she's like,
falls off his horse.
"Hey," and then she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go somewhere and have some fun. Okay, I'll forget all about my rabbit that I love."
She really did get over it quick.
Shitty kids.
So we can blame kids on
Kids.
the downfall of this city.
It's always
Yep.
kids.
Yeah.
This young couple and their shitty kids.
That little girl and that little boy are going to work for Doge now.
Yep.
They have our social security numbers, don't they?
Oh shit. Oh my god.
So Captain Billy's been demoted to corpse.
Yeah, he's dead. They're like, "Gee, what's going on here?" Because now they've stumbled across two bodies that have been mauled in the similar ways.
Yeah.
And the little girl sees something, but she doesn't know exactly what she saw.
Right.
It's the very Jaws moment where they get in the little pond area,
Yeah.
and the sheriff's son goes in catatonic state because he saw a shark.
But in this case, it's a catatonia from a giant rabbit.
Yeah.
It just seems sillier.
It would be funny if he was looking through a book out at his kids playing out the window in a boat or wherever rabbits hang out. And then he's reading a book and it has all the rabbit attack like paintings and the pictures of people with half of their leg chewed off by a rabbit. It's just rabbit jaws is all.
If anything, Jaws ripped off this movie.
If anything.
If anything, that's right.
This is not rabbit jaws though.
No.
It's missing a lot of really
There's no holiday.
there's no joy of
There's
any
no
kind to be had in this movie.
I had joy watching little rabbits hop around.
I loved watching the rabbits. I meant amongst the characters in the film.
yeah.
Like they're not
very-
joyfully living their lives.
No, it's just very like one note.
Yeah. So-
Everything.
So, like you're like,
Very
yeah, if they
bland.
die, it's kind of like it'd be a relief, for them. Is how it feels. They're like, oh, thank
it's
God.
Not, it's not the Dust Bowl they're living in.
It seems that way. Nobody's enjoying themselves.
And then the night of the Lepus commences, right?
Yeah.
We've got Janet Leigh and her daughter. They have been sent away.
No, they tried to blow up the mine first.
Yeah. I
They
forgot.
did blow up the
They did my mine.
Yeah.
And they found holes that they just threw dynamite down.
And they thought that would fix everything,
Yeah.
but it didn't.
They just threw a bunch of dynamite down rabbit holes
Yeah.
and were like, that ought to take care of it.
It worked for Elmer Fudd.
That's
Because
them brushing their hands off.
These holes in this one cave, that's the only enter and exit point for these rabbits.
Yeah, they're
Problem solved.
that's it. That's all you had to do.
Everybody knows how fast rabbits reproduce. They weren't concerned about that.
You think it's the same mine where they try to put the tall man at the end of Phantasm?
Yes.
And then he's down there with the giant rabbits. Crossover. Night of the Phantasm Lepus.
Doesn't roll off your tongue very well.
No. Night of the Lepus Phantasm Edition. Featuring the tall man. And a dozen rabbits.
I wonder how many. It'd be interesting to see a making of behind the scenes of this movie.
It's probably horrifying, man.
Yeah, but it seems like there are a lot of rabbits.
Yeah.
And I feel it's probably difficult to wrangle that many rabbits.
Yeah.
So the rabbit handler on this movie was probably very busy.
Yes.
Had their work cut out for them.
I don't know, man.
I suspect there were a lot of dead rabbits involved in
It
making
really
this.
feels like they were spooking them to get them to do things.
Yeah, there are a lot of leaping rabbits.
And that feels like it would be very traumatic for said rabbit to be constantly spooked in order to be made to run or jump. Thank you for doing that very loudly.
You're welcome.
Pouring water and setting the jug
I
down.
wonder if anybody can hear it.
I bet you they
You
can't.
should listen back and let me know.
Anyway.
Can you hear me pee my pants?
Are you doing it now?
Yes. Didn't hear it at all.
How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
So where were we?
Big rabbits.
Big
Yeah,
rabbits.
Just the rabbits come up from underground, and there's a lot more rabbits than we thought.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of rabbits.
And they're nocturnal, basically. So during the day, they hole up.
Hold up.
in their coffins.
And they're just like vampires.
Yeah. Weren't there bats too? They had to deal with bats. I remember in the beginning, what's his name? Rory Calhoun shaking the cage with all the bats in it. That irritated me a little bit too. He was like,
Yeah, they were shaking the bats to get the bats to make noises. And he was like, you hear that?
that's a shaking
That's
bat.
a scared
fear.
bat.
Yeah.
That's fear. Sound of fear. I'm like, God.
It was definitely
Monstrous.
old-fashioned filmmaking.
Unless it wasn't a real bat.
I feel like there were real bats in there.
Yeah, maybe.
It looked real. Everything in this movie looked real. Except for when they were giant. Even then, pretty realistic.
And also, except when they had close-up rabbit attacks on humans.
That looks so bad.
When it's clearly just a stuffed toy that they're just pushing against a human. And
Yeah.
I guess it's Svengoolie said, when I was watching it, like he said, there was a human... there's a human in a suit at some point too.
A big
for some
rabbit
shots.
suit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't notice that.
I did notice the hand for sure. The arm of the rabbit with the human hand or arm in it.
These rabbits swipe at people.
The drive-in scene is so great. That's like kind of the climax, I think, in the movie, right? Would you say?
So
The
they
drive-in?
did they go to the drive-in to recruit people for the?
Well, they went there to try to evacuate people because it was the rapids were coming.
So they were
Toward that area.
they were evacuating them, but they were also recruiting them to
Yes,
help with their
yeah.
plan.
Yeah, so that they could make a barricade.
They get the wall of cars with their headlights on. They think that they will help
Attract the rabbits.
attract the rabbits or move them in a certain
Yeah.
way because they want them to go to the train tracks because they're going to electrocute them.
Yep. And that's how you do it. In Return of the Living Dead 2, it worked, so it has to work against giant rabbits.
Duh.
Yeah.
But leading up to it, we just see some rapid destruction, which is mostly people just laying down, the dead bodies laying in splayed out positions and just covered in blood. Again, if they are eating these people, they're not very efficient.
They're
because
not. You're right. They're not eating.
Could you imagine the size of the Cadbury cream eggs that these rabbits would be laying?
I would die face first on that thing.
It's so rich, though.
I do love a Cadbury cream egg.
Pretty good.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh my gosh.
Having rabbit for
But
dinner.
one of the problems with one of the many problems, but
Mm-hmm.
You never really get an idea of the size of these rabbits. They
No.
vary wildly from scene to scene. Sometimes they're almost like the size of a big dog.
Yeah.
And other times they're literally the size of a house.
I accept it.
They keep saying,
So,
I know,
yeah,
they keep saying they're the size of wolves.
Yeah, I think they vary. I
But-
kind of accept it as it being different stages of the development and everything.
No, I think they just
No, but you
It's
see,
clear
doing a
that they
very good
screwed
job.
up.
Yeah.
there's a
I'm not
bunch of
defending it for
scenes
real.
where they're like stampeding down the streets
Yeah.
or whatever, and they're next to cars, which
Yeah.
is and they're like model cars, obviously, to show that the rabbits are huge, but they're as big as cars sometimes.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, at least.
But maybe the ones that we saw attack humans are not full size yet. Maybe they're various
I
size.
just think they weren't.
It'd be fun to
They weren't
remake
monitoring the sizing.
this, like a real hard R, where it's a lot of people getting crushed by giant rabbits and guts and gore.
Yeah, there. I did. To me, like we only saw the aftermath of the rabbit killings.
Yeah,
True.
I'd like to see a lot more rabbits attacking people.
yeah. Now with CGI and everything.
Yeah.
There you go. You're not gonna even need rabbits.
This meme has been making its way through Reddit over the last day or two, which is like remake bad movies that had good ideas, but they just didn't live up to the idea instead of remaking good movies.
Right.
And
that's
this
the
is a
way I
movie
feel.
maybe that could be on that list. Remake Night of the Lepus. Call it Night of the fucking Giant Rabbits.
Wow.
Quit calling it Night of the Lepus.
But I think they did.
Giant Rabbit Massacre.
I think they did a decent job of the sets, the tiny sets they had to build to
Yeah.
make the rabbits run down.
Not terrible.
Yeah, they did a decent job of conveying bigness.
Yeah, I think the main problems I have with this movie are pacing issues. It's not even this.
Yeah, the pacing.
Like I like a lot of the bones of this movie, and
Damn it,
like
Jim.
I would love to see somebody take a real hard swing at this as a remake. It'd be
Eli
fun.
Roth.
Eli Ross rabbit movie.
We have Jamie Lee Curtis star in it.
Oh my God, yeah, you'd have to. And she would die shockingly though in the first the first reel of the movie.
Like
Right.
a Drew Barrymore type thing,
Yeah, like
or Janet Leigh type thing.
she would be like completely stepped on by a rabbit and disappear. And then the rabbit peels back and like
She's all squished like a
She's
flat-
Accordion
she's flat.
under there.
she's squished. Completely
That would be
squished.
terrible.
But the plan was they were going to electrocute the train tracks
Mm-hmm.
and drive the rabbits toward the electrified train tracks and just zap them to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
It totally works. Really? I mean,
Yeah.
there it is.
But
you got a bunch of dead giant rabbits.
behind the train tracks, they have just machine guns, a row of them lined
Yeah.
up.
They've got the
Fucking National
military.
Guard.
They just mowed down a bunch of rabbits with machine guns
Do you think
and flamethrowers at one point.
Oh yeah, flamethrowers too.
all of these movies that have shown the National Guard, it's all sci-fi movies when they're calling the National Guard to deal with that threat. How has that affected like recruiting numbers over the years? That guys who are just maybe imaginative and silly enough that are like, one day I want to be called up because there's giant rabbits or a spaceship.
So they should put this in the brochures at the recruiting centers.
They should be like, watch these films.
Yeah. To prepare them for the potential of machine gunning rabbits down.
Yeah. Or talking to an alien on a ramp. You know, the courses and
On a
all that.
ramp.
Alien on a ramp.
On a spaceship ramp.
Yeah. Or, firing upon zombies. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like their plan was a little too simple. Like, what happens if the rabbit didn't hit the track?
There was
It
no
just-
plan for that. They had one shot.
I don't know how many rabbits there were that got
There was
giant.
no real number.
That got
Yeah.
giant titted.
Giant titted.
But
Big
it
ol'
just
rabbit
seems like there was a
titties.
lot more rabbits than they could handle with just
They were just
a-
cranking out babies
Yeah.
right and left, apparently.
I did like the Signal Man character who they were coordinating with to do the track
Oh,
switch.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, I could do this. Or I give you some options. Like it reminded me of that taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, but like in a real silly way.
But I did think they handled the rabbit electrocution scene pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was firecrackers
Yeah.
on top of they did a double exposure but it looked pretty good.
But I want to see part 2 with the aftermath of these giant rabbit corpses.
Oh my god,
How are they going to handle that?
it's gonna smell real bad.
How shocked would you be if there were a sequel to this? It would be shocking to me.
We Day of the Lepus.
Like,
Weekday.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this did well
No.
financially in the theater. Tickets. Who's
But-
going to buy a ticket?
I bet if they can skin all the rabbits and make luxurious rugs
Yeah.
with the pelts. The
Oh
giant
my
pelts.
God.
know.
Yeah. Be real soft.
You got to use what you have.
Haas and Pfeffer.
Great idea.
Haas and Pfeffer for
Has anybody
3
here
counties.
ever eaten rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not.
It tastes like
Because
chicken.
I'm not a fucking
Very
savage.
dry, though.
Yeah. I've only had it in
It's
stew.
a very lean meat.
Savages.
Even in I've had it in stew, too.
Yeah.
But even in a stew, it's very like dry and stringy.
Yeah. It really does taste like chicken, though. I think a lot of people could eat it and not even know.
Yeah.
They may have eaten it and not even known it. I'm not saying I did that to you, but
I
I'm
would
saying
murder
that
you.
you probably, a lot of people wouldn't even know.
I only subscribe to eating meat from the predetermined animal lists. I'm not expanding that list.
Yeah, not until we absolutely have to.
Beef, pork, chicken. That's it.
I bet that these poor people in the town were like, rabbit again for dinner.
Oh, wait. Sometimes lamb when I'm feeling Mediterranean. What were we talking about? Night of the Lepus.
Yep. Want to put a button in that, or is there anything else
Yeah.
you guys want to say about it?
No.
Yeah, it's like I wonder, like you said, I wonder what this movie is like watching it without like Svengoolie or riff tracks.
It would be,
A little
Interminable.
tedious.
yeah. I remembered it being bad from seeing it as a kid,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like, oh, I watched it because there was nothing else to do, but it was a bad movie.
Yeah, it's like at first I had pacing issues. There were
Yeah.
because they jump into this movie pretty quick. The giant rabbits are within the first act.
Yeah.
It's not like a big reveal.
Right.
I like bad movies
Yeah.
though, so it's still one of those ones where I'm like, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's got enough in it that I can see myself rewatching
Yeah.
it,
And
but
it-
like the
yeah.
riff tracks.
Yeah, I was entertained.
Yeah.
So that's all
Forrest Kelly.
I can ask for.
Yeah.
Really.
And I always look for the little things in there when they mix up all those stars,
Mhm.
and you're just like, oh, let's go on the internet and see what happened on the cast of Night of the Lepus and see if we can tell if they're in their eyes in a scene or like, oh, they were fighting that day. Because
Freddy loves gossip.
I love old Hollywood gossip. It's real stale. Nobody gives a shit about it. In real
Everybody's
life.
dead.
Everybody's already dead. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Because then you can secure the legend.
All right. So next week,
Yeah.
our selection is streaming on Tubi if you were interested to join us. It's called Night of the Seagulls.
I'm excited for you. Amy's starting the Blind
Some
Dead
fresh water.
trilogy at the end.
Yes, I have not seen any of the rest of the
Quadrology.
Blind Dead movies.
Is that right for 4? What do you call 4?
Quattro. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. No trilogy, and I thought it was
Quadology.
Quadology.
Well, what's just 2 movies called?
Duology.
Duology. So everything's an ology.
Yeah, when you're telling stories.
Yes.
So what's 5?
Quintology.
Quintology.
Sexology.
Sexology.
That's the one I'm reading.
Yeah.
Septology.
We've gone down a weird rabbit
Octology.
hole.
So anyway,
Nonology.
Night of the Seagulls.
Yeah. Me and Amy were both keeping time. We're awesome like that. So the algorithm's been pretty good.
It's been squirting ideas out at us.
Amy.
I know.
Yeah. We watched a
We
couple
had
of things.
Bunch of movies under our belt yesterday.
Yeah. One I watched while you were asleep was really good. And I thought I had seen it. I hadn't. It's The Haunted Palace. It's the Vincent Price movie based on The Strange Case of Charles Dexter Ward.
I want to watch it.
It's good. I watched it last night, and I watched it again. I liked it that much. I love Vincent Price. He's awesome. I highly recommend. That's on Tubi for free. And then we watched together
Raw Force.
Raw Force, which have you seen this, Andy? This movie's fucking crazy.
I wouldn't recommend it necessarily.
Yeah.
Did you watch it with riff tracks?
No.
It
Watched it
I don't think they would
wrong.
do it. It's got
No,
it's
they
a little
wouldn't do it.
too racy.
There are too many gratuitous titties for them to get around. They're not usually into that sort of thing. And there's some
Gratuitous titties,
dubiousness.
Gratuity.
Gratuity.
And it's about a karate team on a cruise, and they're going to go to this island that's where the ghosts of samurais.
It's like Masculinity Island or something.
Or like
They have
just
some crazy name.
martial artists go to haunt. And there's zombies.
Yeah, there's zombies.
There's ghosts and zombies.
There's human trafficking.
There's human trafficking.
For
this
Jade.
movie's got everything.
Yeah. It's monks trafficking humans for Jade's women.
But they're eating the women.
And the women are being eaten.
Yes.
Um,
Maybe that's where I got confused with Night of Lepus.
And then separately from the monks, there's the zombies. One in particular looks like Jeff Foxworthy, but like dressed up like a samurai. Oh man, that was a
Is
crazy
this
ass
weird movie.
Is this an insensitive movie?
Yes.
Oh, it has no feelings at all.
Yeah.
There's a character in it who I think is supposed to be Adolf Hitler.
The way women are treated in the movie is,
Yeah, it's pretty.
I
ugly.
watched the whole thing though.
I mean, it does have its points
Because all
where
you
you're
had
like,
to tell me was karate team gets
Yeah.
marooned in an island with zombies, and I'm like, this is gonna be stupid.
yeah. So that part of it's kind of fun in that you're like, how did this get made and why and who's it for?
What year was this?
Was it 82?
It would have been in
So
that
early
area.
80s. And then there was the one about the family, another movie that the algorithm fed to us about the family moving into the house, and there's the street punks who are harassing
I fell
them.
asleep for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of it?
I can't even remember. I didn't bring my phone in here, but it was an 80s movie, and it was freaking just strange.
Yeah. I wish we knew the name of it.
Yeah. I can go get my phone and check while you
it's
talk.
okay.
Okay. Want to add it to the show notes? There
no,
we go.
I want
No.
it to just live
It'll
in
just live in-
everyone's brains.
Yeah.
You got some homework for you listeners.
This will help. There's a guy who's running like a street gang who harasses. They were just squatting in this old mansion, and then a family inherits the mansion, so they're moving in. So now they're at odds with this street gang, but it's like an 80s street gang,
Yeah.
you know, where
like the Warriors type.
they're more like a mishmash of. There's one biker character, and then there's like an emo kind of leader guy. It's a batshit movie.
I wish I had the name of it. But that's okay. I've been reading a bunch of Agatha Christie lately. I don't know why. It's just where my head wants to be. We're reading The Mysterious Ferret Styles. No. Is that it?
That's what you're at.
That's
You
what
told
I'm
me
reading.
you just finished Roger Ackroyd.
Yes. Now I'm reading Styles.
She hitting up Poirot.
I'm doing the
Mainlining
Poirot.
Poirot.
I'm making my little gray cells do things.
So, like, I've never read Agatha Christie. Is she like a
Mystery.
mystery? But is it like, is it cozy like a British
Yes.
horror movie or something?
She invented that.
Yeah,
she
very much
invented the
so.
cozy mystery, right? Isn't she credited as being the first to do the parlor where they gather everybody?
I don't. You know what? You're asking me questions I can't answer.
That's okay.
I wish you wouldn't have brought it up. Then you just make
Well,
me feel silly.
We're not experts.
Like
but,
I should know
But
more.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think Agatha Christie
It's all very cozy to me.
did the little
There are
reveal.
parlors. There's parlor maids. You know. all
So
that
something along the lines of like Murder on the Orient Express or something.
She wrote that.
stuff. She wrote that.
Yeah, did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, okay. So it's like that type of thing that she
Yes.
she invented then.
Yeah.
That's her.
And they're fun to read. They're good. They're like any age, I think, can read those books. I mean, any one over like 12,
Right.
right? Wouldn't you say?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just good.
Because
Good
it's
time.
still it's written differently than books are written now. So you need to be a little bit more mature.
And you have to get used to it while you're like. It's not something I think most people would just dive in the first page and feel comfortable, but you get there.
Yeah.
Is there old timey language that you have to look up?
That's the thing.
A little bit. There's stuff here and there. But I'm reading it as an ebook, so you can just press on the word,
That's
and
good
then
stuff.
up pops Wikipedia.
Is it at times can it be racially insensitive because of the time
Well,
period?
there is a book she wrote that is titled "And Then There Were None" that had a more racially tinged title.
Twice.
that has since been changed. So
Yeah. They changed it once, right, to Indians at one point from something even worse. That's what I heard. I heard it was like it went through like 3 iterations before it was, and then there were none.
Yeah.
Again, not an expert.
Just talking out of his ass.
Just things are
Won't
farting
stop
out.
bringing stuff up that he doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't have his phone with him, so he can't even look it up.
Right. I can only rely on my memory right now. My flawed memory.
It's very flawed. All right, Andy, what you been watching, brah?
I saw the new Captain America movie today.
Oh
yeah.
shit, that's right, that's out.
Yeah, it's so disappointing because I really like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
You can tell it's a February release.
Yeah. It's making a lot of money.
Yeah,
but
it was. Apparently, there were a lot of reshoots, and it's very, very obvious on the screen because there's some pretty egregious ADR.
Oh,
I
really?
hate
Yeah.
that shit.
It's like a disembodied voice. It's so bad, like the ADR, and at the end, like at the climatic battle, you can tell that they just kind of Frankenstein some scenes together.
Oh no.
Because there's just really bad parts where Anthony Mackie's just looking up at the Hulk, because that's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
But it's obviously green screen because there's people in the background and they're not moving.
Yeah.
And so in bad green screen you can like kind of see the outline and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's kind of inexcusable.
Wow.
Well, at the budget level, they're working.
Yeah,
at.
exactly.
It's weird that
The resources they have versus
Yeah.
And maybe it's because it was rushed and because of the reshoots or something, but it was just really noticeable and it kind of took away from the movie a lot.
Wow.
And there was another scene, like there are things that you can tell like they kind of stitched like Frankenstein movie together because there's like one pivotal scene that happens, then it's never referred to again, and then at the end it's just wrapped up.
Oh, really?
It's just confusing.
Yeah.
Like
So they were rushed through
Yeah.
editing probably too.
Yeah.
Then.
But Anthony Mackie's good and some decent fight scenes. But this doesn't really set up anything else
I was
in
gonna
the
ask, did it
MCU.
set anything up?
You ever see the Eternals?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Did I?
I don't think you did.
Oh.
The
Well,
one
like,
with Kumail Nanjiani.
I saw it
Yeah.
then. I don't
Oh, you
think I
did?
cared that much for it.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it finally explains about the Celestial that was rising out of the ocean and becomes like an island.
oh, okay.
That's kind of a
They
big
tie
plot
that
point.
up.
But and it introduces something that's kind of important to the MC Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far off that they're going to address this. But it's kind of this could be like a standalone movie. It doesn't
Right.
really add anything to like the big. I don't know because I don't know what they're doing with MCU right now.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's really confusing. So
Yeah.
this seems like it just could be just standalone. I don't think it's like a stepping stone to anything else. Like even the stinger at the end, it is so vague and nondescript that it could be describing anything.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
not really trying to,
Yeah.
queue up the sequel anymore.
Yeah, like basically the spoiler, but don't listen to this if you haven't seen it. But the end is like, it's coming and you're not ready for it. That type
So
of
vague.
Yeah. But that could be anything.
Yeah.
So
That
they just
I did read somewhere that they said they wanted the Captain America movies now to be like the one-offs in the whole
Yeah.
thing, like self-contained stories
Yeah.
that beginning, middle, end, and done.
But it just feels like they did the stinger just because it has to have all the MCU movies have to have a stinger now.
Yeah.
But they just
That's what
did
they're known
it
for.
because they didn't know where it was going, so they just made it super vague, so
Yeah.
it just can shoehorn into anything else they want to do.
Convenient.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anything else come down your pipeline?
yeah, that's
And
it.
At your bottom.
Come down your pipeline and out your bottom.
Talk about poop,
Right onto the streets of Cincinnati.
That's doo-doo, baby.
and then people come across your poo and take pictures with it.
None of you are in it like doing the peace sign or anything
No, like,
in the picture that you have.
Although Andy is squatting over it at one point.
Did I not see that?
You must not have.
Did you just see the picture of the poo by itself?
I just saw the poo by itself.
Oh,
and then that was
missed all
enough
the-
for me.
It was a creative moment.
Yeah.
Like it
All right,
sparked a
all
lot of
this, I think,
creativity.
needs to be posted.
Sure.
It's like I'm pretending the poop came out of me.
Oh, Andy, I can't believe you.
I'm
pretty
pretending
funny.
the poop came out of me.
In Soviet Russia,
I am artist.
you come out to poop.
I was just doing a generic artist accent.
Oh, I thought
but
you were
now that you
doing-
mentioned it, it does
Sound
sound
like
Russian.
Yakov to me.
Just going for straight up weirdo.
Yeah.
Yakov Smirnov.
You are.
He was great. He still
All
is. What
right.
am I saying?
Sure, why not?
Doesn't he have a residency in where's that place that people always go that is like a second rate?
Branson,
Missouri.
Is he still making in Soviet Russia jokes?
I think so.
I think that's his whole.
I think he
bread and
also
butter.
teaches at like a university, teaches like something about comedy or something. I don't know.
Well, this is not the Yakov Smirnoff podcast.
That's true.
The end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP if you're interested. Matt, Brandon and Emily, Jeffel, Iona Goodwin,
Oh, a great one.
Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Billsterd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordash Jeans, Monica, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora, Ernest, Dave, and Paul. Those are all our babies.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, bye. Have a lovely day.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to